Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 230. My name's Adam Patterson. Joining me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing alright.
Good.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Did you do your sidewalk business or whatever you had to do?
Oh, bad, yeah.
What were you doing?
Grinding down sidewalks.
Grinding down sidewalks.
You just gotta grind them sidewalks down.
Why?
Because the township is like, you gotta do something about these sidewalks. The gaps are too much. There's too much of a discrepancy between the blocks.
Oh.
And it's not good for people with wheelchairs or people with strollers. So you gotta level them out.
Huh. And how did you do that?
Big stone grinder.
You rented a stone grinder?
You had to rent a stone grinder. And I'm out there with my neighbor that I essentially just met yesterday because he had to do some. So it's just me and my neighbor bonding, grinding down some sidewalks.
Nice.
Fuck you, township.
Sounds like a good Sunday afternoon to me.
Oh my god, it's the worst. I did that for 3 hours.
Ugh.
It was 3 hours.
I
I breathed in so much concrete.
You have mesothelioma now.
That concrete lung. I think that's what they call it.
Alright, well this week on the show we'll be talking about Park Chan-wook's The Handmaiden, alongside Ty West's latest In a Valley of Violence. We're also going to be talking about some other stuff we've been watching on the watch list, movie predictions, new on video on demand, Blu-ray releases. I got a couple things in the news that I wanted to highlight this week, mainly some trailers that came out that got me really excited this week. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 got a first teaser trailer.
Uh-oh.
Very, very excited for this. I know you weren't big on the first one, but I had a blast with it, and I think that the sequel is going to be a lot of fun. They released a new teaser poster for it as well. It's a really cool kind of black and white poster. Very excited about that one. Logan got a trailer, the new Wolverine movie.
I actually got around to watching that.
Yeah, what did you think? Are you? No, let's not. Before you continue, let's not include the fact that they play the Johnny Cash song. I know that is an overplayed song. I get it. It's
like right off the bat, I was just like, oh.
Yes, it is an overplayed song, but
it's just it's weird because it doesn't seem like does that need to be a Wolverine movie?
That's what has me excited, though. Is that
that's just weird because it's like, oh, it's a midnight special, but with Wolverine.
That's what kind of has me excited about it, though, is that it doesn't, at least from the tone of the trailer, it doesn't seem like a typical X-Men movie, and that has me more excited. The fact that it's based on the comic book series Old Man Logan, which takes place in the distant future, and he has to protect that girl who is actually sort of his daughter, like a cloned. She's a clone. Oh my god! But she has claws. At least in the comic book, she has claws as well.
Oh boy! Oh goodness! Everybody's got claws now.
She only has 2, if it follows the comic books.
Is that because she's younger? Like as she gets older, does she get more claws?
I don't know.
You think?
I don't think so. Either way, very excited for Logan. I like the title card, very simple, not flashy. I'm into it. Assassin's Creed got a new trailer as well. With this one, it's like I'm still really up in the air about this. I want it to be good. There's some really good, talented people behind it, but the way that it's being marketed, it feels like a video game movie. I mean, it feels like it's not being marketed correctly, unless that's...
Well, that's why I kind of stopped with the watching of the trailers.
I'm just not on board with the marketing for this one, and I'm worried that that's going to reflect. It's a reflection of the actual movie itself.
Probably not.
I hope not. I mean, I like with the people involved, I just can't see that. Like, I can't see Michael Fassbender and the director. I can't. What's his name?
All I know is Kursel.
Yeah, Justin Kursel.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him along with Cotillard and Fassbender being like, making this silly
I would think
video
that it's
game
more
movie.
of just trying to sell it to a mass audience and then pulling the old switch.
That's what I'm hoping.
To the theater.
That's what I'm hoping.
Get that switcheroo.
And when I first saw the Logan trailer, I was worried that they were going to do the opposite with Logan, where they're kind of downplaying. They're kind of downplaying the comic book movie tropes in the first trailer, but then when you actually see the movie, it's going to be like, you know,
which is funny because you think at that point in time, like when it comes to the marketing of the film, they know what the people want. So why don't you just make that movie instead of just doing all this finessing in the marketing? Why don't you?
Well, it's because it's because they always. It's the same. I liken it to the way that teasers versus trailers are cut together. Whenever you see a teaser, it always makes it look good. It's like, oh man, like I really want to see that, like that, because they tend to make teasers more creatively and more flashy than the actual full trailer.
You're not working with a lot of information. The more information you get, the more detrimental it becomes.
Yeah.
Like if I were just to say like, hey, new Wes Anderson, you'd be like, awesome. And then I feel it's like, you know, oh, it's Wes Anderson doing like the history of, God, I don't know. Blenders. Yeah, blenders, needlepoint, crochet. You'd be like, I don't know about that. And then you'd be like, hey, it stars Adam Sandler. Like, what? You know what I mean? You just keep giving more. Like, but if you just keep it simple and just like a little tiny nugget, because then your imagination gets to run wild. Like, oh my God, this movie can be anything.
Yeah, that's true.
But the more they add to it, you're like, oh, so it looks like this movie's going to be this thing, which I don't like.
No, I'm hoping that the studios take more chances and try new things and be a little more risky. I mean, we're starting to see it.
I guess, but
we're at seeing the same time,
we just got done talking about the 8th Wolverine movie.
Well, it's the last one, so I mean, technically, it's only his third movie that's about him.
Wow. It honestly feels like this is the 8th one.
I liked the second one, the Wolverine. I thought that was good.
I don't know if I even saw the second one.
It's really good up until towards the end. It gets very comic booky and it falls apart a little bit, but everything up until that point, it's pretty great because it's different. It carries a different tone than your typical superhero movie, and I think that's what people want. I mean, people want something different. They want something new. And I think that's like the first Captain America movie. When I first found out, when it was announced and they said it was going to be taking place in World War II, I was like, what? That's crazy. I never imagined that they would do something like that. Because at that time, it was like completely unheard of to try anything different, even remotely different than giant beam coming out of the sky blowing up a city. And of course, they went back to that later, but they're just dipping their toes in. And I heard that Doctor Strange is really true to the comic book, so it's this kind of psychedelic mind trip movie.
That was weird. I saw the first trailer for that. I didn't know all those people. Right?
Oh yeah, a lot of people.
It's just like, what? I'm confused.
And Scott Derrickson directed that Sinister.
Oh.
Yeah, the first Sinister, not the second. The only other thing that I wanted to just briefly touch on was the fact that AT&T and Time Warner are merging, or rather, AT&T is buying Time Warner, and this may not mean anything for movie watchers, but the fact that AT&T, a communications company, now owns essentially Warner Brothers could mean some changes, because Time Warner has a stake, they're a shareholder, they have part ownership of Hulu, so that there could be some changes there. And they also, obviously, Warner Brothers Studios, which is one of the biggest studios in the country. And then we have TV networks like CNN and the Turner, all the different Turner networks as well. So it could, I mean, they also own HBO, so that's another big thing. So I don't know, there could be some new things coming after this buyout business takes place. Hopefully not. I'm just tired of these giant studios taking over everything, and we've talked about it before, and it's like essentially the same thing that's happening within society, where the middle class is kind of just extinct at this point.
We're just working our way towards like a dystopian future where there's just one company.
I think that's what it is.
Owns everything.
that's what's happening here.
We're getting there. We're slowly marching our way there.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'm really on board with this whole buyout thing, but I guess we'll see how it goes. It's probably going to take years for it to actually go through because it is such a big, major acquisition or buyout or whatever you want to call it, that the feds are going to be heavily involved with this as far as terms and everything.
Yeah.
So we probably won't see any kind of ramifications from this for a long time. And hopefully it won't mean anything as far as the movie side of things. I mean, I'm sure that from now on, everybody's going to be using AT&T cell phones and things. We're going to see a lot more product placement.
AT&T everything.
Wonderful. All right, let's talk about our first movie this week. Let's do In a Valley of Violence. Let's start with that.
All right, get it.
This is written and directed by Ty West. I have a synopsis here. A mysterious stranger and a random act of violence drag a town of misfits and nitwits into the bloody crosshairs of revenge. This stars Ethan Hawke, John Travolta. Toby Huss is in there. Big fan of Toby Huss. James Ransome. Bern Gorman's in there. Larry Fessenden. Taissa Farmiga. Did I mention John Travolta?
I think so. Karen Gillan?
Yeah.
Where's she from?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I ask that every time. Maybe that might have been it.
She's from Guardians of the Galaxy and Oculus.
I think I did. It's come back. I think I'm pretty sure that I have said that when I talked about Oculus and Guardians.
Yeah, I think so. She's somebody.
Like, who's Karen Gillan?
She's somebody who you always seem to misplace.
Like, who are you?
All right, so I guess I'll start off with In a Valley of Violence. As being the resident Ty West fan, I think you fucking hate Ty West so much.
No, he's all right.
I like his stuff. His stuff is maybe not his first couple movies. I mean, I guess I don't really count Cabin Fever 2, but his is certainly The Innkeepers and House of the Devil. Those are still my favorites of his. I thought that some of his what was the Jonestown one that he did called? I can't even remember.
Oh God, Sacrament.
Yeah, I mean that was just it felt so derivative, and in a lot of ways, I think In a Valley of Violence is also very derivative. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. This to me felt like a Western version of John Wick, or just John Wick within a Western theme.
Yeah, because
there were a lot of similarities. There were plenty of differences too, but as far as the similarities go, I mean, obviously it's about if you see the trailer, it's Ethan Hawke plays this kind of lone stranger passing through this sleepy town. He has this dog. Some stuff goes down, and the dog gets killed, and he goes back for revenge. That's pretty much the basis of John Wick too. There's a lot of kind of clever dialogue and comedy injected into this, and it's been a while since I've seen John Wick, but I seem to remember that also being the case with John Wick.
I think there was a little bit in there,
maybe more so in this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
There's also far less action in this movie. I don't know if I would classify this as an action movie per se, because really he's just going up against 5 people. And which is interesting because when I started watching it and I saw the setup, I was like, where are they going to go with this? Because in Westerns, normally it's either one person or a group of people versus essentially a whole town or an army of people and a whole gang of people. So then you can have these big massive shootouts with high body counts. But in this movie, it was very small scale. There was like 10 people that live in this town, and five of them are trying to kill this guy.
And I don't know if the name the Valley of Violence is really warranted.
I know it seemed like a very peaceful town.
It's like a town of like 9 people.
Yeah,
and all like 6 of them are all on the same side. 7, if you want to stretch it to what's her name, Mary Ann. Mm-hmm. She's kind of just like trying to make the best of the situation, I guess.
Yeah.
There's like there's the barkeep, there's the guy that runs the general store, And then there was like two other people maybe like in the
There was a
background.
woman. There was another woman because I actually took note of that. There was a scene where a woman, she was like
Yeah.
running across the way. And I was like, where did she come from? I thought there was only two women that lived in this town.
Yeah. And I find it difficult to believe that all of them would be surviving.
Yeah, no,
Because it didn't seem like they had much.
no, there's nothing there. But that was
And
actually,
who's
I mean, that was a plot point. It was the fact that this was a silver mining town, and the mine dried up, and everybody left. So there was only a few people left.
now you got this corrupt deputy doing his thing, which I don't know about his performance.
James Ransone.
Yeah, I like James Ransone, but I just thought he was too much.
Well, that was one thing. Yeah, he was hamming it up. He was playing the Western villain archetype.
And I don't put that on him. I think that's more Ty West's fault because obviously he was okay with it because
I didn't have a.
we know. It's just I couldn't take it, and by the time he gets where they're, because to me it's kind of the same thing as the Greasy Strangler, but not as bad, where they just belabor certain scenes and they just go on and they're trying to inject this humor into it, and to me it wasn't working whatsoever. It's just, to me, it was just kind of like masking the fact that you really don't have much to do here. There's not really anything going on.
Yeah,
it's just Ethan Hawke trying to kill a couple guys.
I think that in a lot of ways that's the way Ty West makes his movies. He does stretch things out. I mean, if you look at a lot of his other movies, he does the same thing where he takes a very simple premise and really pulls it tight.
And I think it works well enough in like House of the Devil and The Innkeepers. To me, that makes sense because you have a horror movie. It's not going to be nonstop horror throughout. You gotta kind of like stretch it out. You gotta create some tension in between your horror elements or your scares or whatever. So you're gonna have some just natural dialogue between people, which makes sense.
Well, and also
but here,
also with those movies, it aided in establishing connections with the characters. Whereas in this movie, the only character you really need to establish any kind of connection to is Ethan Hawke and maybe Taissa Farmiga. Maybe her. The rest of the people are either the villain, who I guess you could try to form some sort of connection to, but you don't really within the context of this movie, and thugs, like, the deputies, or I guess they're not, I don't even know what they are. Just cronies.
Just call
I mean, you don't need to establish any kind of connection to them at all. So time spent trying to develop these characters seems kind of frivolous. Like there's no real point to it. Now, that isn't to say that I didn't think the characters were interesting, because I thought that they were way more fleshed out and entertaining to watch than something like Magnificent Seven. Like comparing these two movies, I mean, both Westerns, both have, I guess, similar themes, in the broad sense. But for me, this was leaps and bounds above that as far as as far as plot, dialogue, and just entertainment factor. Even though that this is a much smaller scale movie, there aren't as many characters, and there's not as much, shoot 'em up action stuff. I thought that it was way more effective in this than in that movie.
No, yeah. It was definitely better than Magnificent Seven. But Magnificent Seven for me was trash. And this is just like fresh trash, I guess. Like, this is fresh trash. Like, I just threw this out. Magnificent Seven's been sitting in the dumpster for like a week.
It's been stagnating.
Yeah. And it's been hot. It's been like a hot couple of days. So it's got that like, everything's starting to break down. And got that smell to it. Yeah. That's what Magnificent Seven is. In Valley of Violence, that is just, I just threw this stuff out. I just threw out a head of cabbage and a gallon of milk.
Okay, I gotcha. I feel you.
So it's not that bad, but it's still garbage.
I would not call this movie garbage.
I think this is garbage. This is a garbage movie. Why the fuck is this thing so long?
It's what is it, an hour and 45 minutes?
It's an hour and 45 minutes. We got 10 or so minutes with Tubby saying that he would like to be called Lawrence, and it just keeps going on and on and on. And then you have like 5 minutes, and these are just estimates, by the way. 5 minutes of Travolta telling Tubby, like, go out there. It's like, fucking speed it up already. And then, what else is there? There's a lot of scenes like that. Oh, the scene where Ransom Gilly is in the room with the two sisters, and he's just going, he hams it up for that section. Just going on and on.
Yeah, that was a little bit too much. But it sounds to me like one of the issues you had was you had a problem with the comedy. It sounds like the comedy wasn't working.
Well, I had a problem with a lot of the dialogue, really, and just stretching it out.
See, I liked the dialogue. I thought the dialogue was pretty clever.
The only dialogue I liked really was Travolta.
And I thought Travolta was a great character because you going into it, I was like, he's going to be the big bad guy. And his character is a lot different than what you expect. And I thought that was pretty refreshing.
Because I got to say, I was kind of surprised. Like, when he first shows up, and to me, I thought he showed up kind of early.
Yeah, he does.
And I'm like, man, this is kind of early in the movie. And then he shows up, and they just have like this discussion. And then that's kind of it. And you're like, okay. Yeah. What? Like, I thought he was the big-time baddie. But it doesn't play out that way. But then you're right. It turns into Chan-wook, really.
Yeah, and if you see the trailer for this, they let you know that that's what this is. So I knew that premise going into it, and that's the thing. There's not a lot of new here. There's not a lot of originality, I guess. That sounds more harsh than I mean it, because I had a really fun time with this movie. I liked the dialogue. I liked the banter. I liked how a lot of the dialogue felt contemporary. It didn't feel like it should have been happening in the 1800s, especially with like Karen Gillan, like her character. She didn't even try. Like, she wasn't even trying to act like a person living back then.
No, and it was kind of jarring at first, like when she first comes out, and you're like, wait, is this like a full-on comedy Western? Because up until this point, everything was kind of serious, and we're kind of making Ethan Hawke be this badass. Mm-hmm. Like the first, the initial sequence with Bern Gorman's character, I was hooked there. I was like, okay, I'm in. I like the sound of this. And then, once again, James Ransone just talks for fucking ever leading up to that. And then she comes out, which her character feels completely out of place compared to everyone else. It was very jarring.
It was definitely jarring, but I also think that James Ransone's character, he didn't feel like a character that would be living back then either. Several of the characters, just the way that they spoke and kind of emoted, it didn't feel like a period piece like that. But that didn't bother me at all. Like, I don't know. I think it wasn't done to the point where it was overt. It was kind of done in a more subtle way. I don't even know if it was intentional, honestly. Like, because some characters, like Larry Fessenden, felt like he felt like an old timey Western movie henchman. Like,
yeah.
And same with Tommy Nohilly's character.
Yeah.
They felt like Western, and even Bern Gorman too, I guess, is the priest. But yeah, I don't know. I do love that. As soon as I saw Larry Fessenden, I was like, well, I wonder how he's gonna get killed. Spoiler: he gets killed.
Yes, I've been seeing him in a lot lately. It seems like.
Yeah.
It seems like he's popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
It's him, Barbara Crampton.
They're definitely churning them out.
Who's gonna make that movie? Someone's gonna end up
with both of them.
Both of them.
I
wonder if you're allowed to.
They're probably,
maybe you're not.
They can't be at the same place at the same time.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being like an unwritten rule where you can't have both of them.
I would not be surprised in the slightest if they've already been in stuff together, because they've both been in a shitload, and they're in a shitload more coming out.
And yeah, like 900 movies each.
12. Larry Fessenden has 12 movies that have not come out yet.
What, this year?
Well, some of them are
into the future.
Yeah, some of them are slated for next year. There's a couple shorts in there too. One short. So my guess is that Barbara Crampton's in at least one of those.
Well, how he produced certain women.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I have a feeling that he's, in one way or another, he's involved in every single movie made in America.
Yeah, I mean he is definitely one of the biggest voices in American indie filmmaking. That's for sure. He's the I think he's the owner or founder of Glass Eye Pix.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like a big time New York indie guy. I've seen a number of his movies too. I mean, his horror movies that he directs are very different. They all have kind of a distinct style to them as well. Big fan.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten around to seeing any of his films that he's directed.
They're good. Some of them are not amazing, but I'd check out a few of them.
I have to do that. I have to do that. Hopefully it'll be better than an Valley of Violence. I didn't like this. I disliked my time with this movie. It just, outside of Travolta, really, nothing worked for me.
The end didn't really work for me. I can't get into it without spoiling it, but the kind of...
that was just hilarious. And for the one person to be goofy. Surprised after the dust settles, to be surprised.
Yeah.
Like,
it was just...
what did you think was going to happen?
It felt really strange. The way it was shot, the way it was presented, it was just... I don't know. I was like, what? What is happening here? It was. It almost felt like I don't know. For some reason, I got a Death Proof vibe to it at the towards the end. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, well, it's got a good dog too.
Oh yeah, great. The dog steals the show. It's funny because I at the beginning I was like, oh, maybe they won't kill the dog. Maybe it's something else. But yeah, they do.
Yeah, you know that dog's getting killed. At least they got that blanket roll up in beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Very well trained dog. Dog does lots of tricks in this movie. So.
Covering the eye.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about In a Valley of Violence. Good score.
The score actually was pretty good. I enjoyed that as well. So I would go Travolta score. Good dog.
What'd you think about Ethan Hawke?
Ethan Hawke was just more of Ethan Hawke. It's just like oh, Ethan Hawke character, cool. I've seen you do this before. He doesn't have much range, it seems like.
Well, no, but in most of his movies, he has a lot of dialogue. I mean,
yeah.
I guess that's mainly the Linklater thing, but he talks a lot in a lot of his movies, and in this movie, he's very subdued. He's
kind of quiet.
He's a subdued Hawke.
I don't know. It didn't work for me. Ethan Hawke didn't work for me in this one.
I thought he was fine. I didn't. I think that you could have replaced him with a lot of other people, and it would have been the same. It's not like he added much to the role, but I like Ethan Hawke, so I was cool.
I like Ethan Hawke too, but that's just a waste of damn time.
I had a good time with it. I like revenge stories. The Western for me has not tired out just yet. I could probably handle a few more of them before I'm done.
Put it down. Kill it.
Yeah. I could do a couple more, but they'll have to be something different. Like for me, I also got shades of Bone Tomahawk with this one, which was definitely doing a disservice to this movie because Bone Tomahawk was, in my opinion, so much better. Like they handled the comedy a lot better in Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I can't quite wrap my head around with In a Valley of Violence, because there's moments where it seems like it's trying to go for like the B Western, and they're just kind of having like a good time with it. And there's other times where it's extremely serious. So it's like I just can't put my finger on what it's trying to be.
Yeah, maybe it's just trying to be a little bit of both, Kevin. A little bit of both.
Well, you failed. Sorry, you did a piss poor job with both of them. And then you put both of those together, and it didn't work.
Also had a really great intro sequence, the title sequence.
Yeah, that's right. The animation was pretty great there. Which is, it kind of got you amped up, especially with that initial sequence with Ethan Hawke and the priest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, all right, let's do this.
That was a great opener. All right. In a Valley of Violence. You can check this out right now in limited release and on video on demand. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 3.
That's a shame.
That's not. It's better than The Sacrament.
Oh well, yeah. I think it's definitely better than The Sacrament. I didn't hate The Sacrament, but this was a lot better than that. I'll be interested to see what he does next. The other thing to mention is that this one was far. I mean, it's not a horror movie at all. Like, it's not even. It's it is violent. There's violence in there, but
even though the title is a little bit misleading.
Yeah, you kind of think that it's going to be chock full of it, but right off the bat, when I realized that he was only going up against 5 people, I was like, well, what can you? I mean, you can't have that much going on with only 5 versus 1 here. And it's interesting though, because what he does is I forgot to point this out, is that he kind of switches perspectives. So like the beginning up until Ethan Hawke goes on his quest for revenge, I mean, you stay with Ethan Hawke the whole time, but then after he gets back to the town in order to kill everybody, you switch perspectives to the guys he's hunting, and it almost turns into sort of like a pseudo slasher movie where they don't know where he is and they know that they're being hunted by him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of this interesting perspective shift, and then that's where you have a lot of the kind of bumbling, goofy moments with Tubby and
because they don't seem to know what they're doing. Because it's not even like Ethan Hawke's this like super badass. He's just kind of like a dude trying to get to Mexico.
And the funny thing is, like, he doesn't even try to do anything badass. Like, when he first gets there, he just walks right into the center of town. Like, he's not even trying to do anything crazy.
Yeah. It's just...
He just doesn't give a fuck.
No. Well, I mean, he doesn't really have much to live for, it seems like.
No.
If you don't have that dog doing those tricks to kind of keep you company on your way to Mexico, I mean, there's really no point.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, let's move on, talk about our next film, The Handmaiden. This is directed by Park Chan-wook, or Chan-wook Park.
It depends on what website you're on.
Yeah, it's however you want to say it.
I've been feeling that there's like a very certain way that it's supposed to be said.
I think there is.
And,
I think there is. It's like different instances. Like if you're referring to him in one context, it's like one way. But I actually tried to figure out what that was last night, and I couldn't quite figure it out. It seems like nobody knows. I mean, American audiences don't know.
Yeah.
I have a synopsis here. A woman is hired as a handmaiden to a Japanese heiress, but secretly she is involved in a plot to defraud her.
Well, it's not really a secret then, is it? Putting it right there in the synopsis.
Well, it's a secret from the heiress. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. This is based on a novel by Sarah Walters. I think it's a British novel, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. This takes place in the 1930s.
Okay. All right.
Kevin, we'll start with you. What'd you think of The Handmaiden?
Okay, so I watched In a Valley of Violence first, right? And I was like, God damn it, that was long. It's like, well, time to finally sit down and watch The Handmaiden. Let me check the runtime on this sucker real quick. And it was just me seeing it and just going, God, you got me.
This one's a long one, yeah. This one's like 2.5 hours long, almost.
And this movie looks great. Performances, good stuff. That's all I got. I wasn't feeling this one. It's just the entire structure of the story and the way the story is told, like the execution of it. I want no part of this, really.
Really?
It got tiring after a while, because it's essentially just like, okay, this is the con, and we talk through the con, and they show you everything that the con's going to be. This person's going to do this thing. This person's going to do this. This is who they're conning. This is how they're going to do it. And then it goes up to that point, and then it stops. And they're like, haha. So this is the con. This is the person. This is the other person doing the con. This is what this person does. And then it gets up to a point, and it's like, aha. So this person is doing this. And it's just like, oh, my God. I mean, we so many people shit-talking Christopher Nolan for expository shit, and that's all this movie is. It's just explaining the con to you the entire time.
It's funny because in this you're about an hour, almost an hour and a half in, and it feels like it's the end. But then you realize there's like 45 minutes to an hour to go, and it's like, where are they going from here?
That's what I mean. And then, you know, they kind of switch it.
Yeah, and then they go back, and you're like, oh. And it's...
They just explain everything again, and then they switch it and explain everything again. And it's just like, okay, are you just going to explain to me everything in the movie? Is that what we're doing? You're just you're taking my hand and walking me through everything for 2 hours and 25 minutes. That's what we're doing.
There's a lot of that. I actually didn't mind it, although I will say that the way that it was structured was very exhausting. I feel like maybe there would be a better way to present this information than getting to the end and then rewinding back to almost the beginning and then playing it through again.
Yeah, so it felt like that. Like, you're right. Like, you get to that hour mark and it takes you back to the beginning and be like, hey, here's the alternate timeline. And you're like, we're going through the entire movie again? Are you serious?
Yeah, because it's showing you a different angle that you didn't even know about what was going on.
Which is funny, because if anyone else did that, people would be shitting all over it. Just shitting all over it. Because pretty much everyone hates that.
A lot of people hate it. I don't know. For me, it didn't bother me. Yes, I was feeling. I was definitely feeling the strain of that for sure. But I guess maybe it was because I was really into the narrative, and I was interested by these characters, and I just wanted to see where it would go, because I think maybe that's what it was. Just the story in and of itself was enough to keep me hooked. So I didn't mind it so much when they went all the way back and showed us everything from the other angle, like the real, like what really was going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And along with the visuals, really,
because the visuals are fantastic.
Yeah, I mean that's what really propels this movie, because when I first I said it before in a previous episode, this is probably the best trailer to be released this year. It's an amazing trailer. I'm not a big fan of period pieces, and reading the little, one sentence synopsis of this, I was like, I'll see it because it's Park Chan-wook, but I don't know if I'm going to be into this. It just it didn't seem like it was going to be my kind of movie, but upon watching it, and I've seen it twice now, upon watching it and then subsequently rewatching it, I mean, it's definitely not what I expected. I thought that the twists and the turns, and like there's this kind of perverse humor in this movie that I can't really quite put my finger on, but I was really enjoying it, because it's not funny per se, but there's just these like kind of weird little things that he does it in all his movies.
Yeah.
It's just these small little nuggets of absurd comedy,
little injections,
and I liked all that stuff. And it was also kind of weird, it was kind of odd, a lot of the things, especially with the what was the main guy, the old man. He wasn't a count, because the con guy was the count.
Oh yeah, the uncle.
Yeah, the uncle. He was just such a creepy old man with his black tongue, and
which it seemed like he was kind of licking that pen.
Oh, he was just he just should have started drinking that ink, because he was licking that pen so much. He loved it. He loved that ink.
It's just he licked it like 7 times before. I don't think you have to lick a pen that many times. Like, I understand that you have to lick the pen. It helps. I don't know if you have to do it that often. It just seems a bit too much.
Well, he was crazy.
I think you're just diluting the ink at that point in time. You're fucking up the mixture, because you're probably working with like 70% saliva, 30% ink at that point in time.
Well, let's step back a little bit and kind of go over the plot a little bit.
Talk about the ink mixture. That wasn't your main takeaway?
I feel like we need to go over plot more when we review these movies.
No, you don't. Just watch the movie. It'll explain the plot to you for 2.5 hours.
I feel like when we review movies, we don't get enough into actually what the movie's about, and we just start into what we thought about them. And people that haven't seen the movie are like, "What are they talking about? I don't even understand."
Which I think that's better that way. See the movie first. You don't want to know.
Course. Yeah, I mean that's in an ideal world, but sometimes people just want to hear if a movie's good or not before they go see it. You know, so with The Handmaiden, it's pretty. Actually, the synopsis, even though it's short, it's pretty much on point. It's basically about this Korean girl who is her mom was a con woman.
I like con person. It's got a really nice ring to it. Kind of rolls.
Well,
off
I feel like it's time to make con man gender neutral because there can be con women. So let's just call them con people. Her mom's a con person who was arrested and hanged for her conning of people. And she ends up grows up in this kind of I don't even know what it is. It's like
it's a con family.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's half orphanage, half con factory where they train these people to become expert cons. And they can forge documents and things like that. And they one of the con men that's familiar with the family comes up with this idea of having her infiltrate this rich family and try to get him to fall in love, or her to fall. I'm making it even worse. me trying to describe it is.
I think this is why we don't do this.
Yeah. Well, this movie's a little bit more complicated, so it's difficult. She infiltrates this family as a maid, and with the idea of defrauding her, and things don't end up the way that she wants, but there's a lot of twists and turns along the way where there's double crosses, there's triple crosses, and you think that it's going one way, but then you find out that there was an even bigger plan happening behind the scenes.
Then there's times where you're like, sweet Jesus, it's finally over, and then it's not. And then there's another time where you think that too, but it's not over, and it just keeps going.
Yeah. It's a long movie. It is long.
There's maybe even a quad cross in there. Do you think it goes quad cross?
It might. There's lots of twists and turns in there.
It's a twisty one. But don't worry, you won't get confused because he'll explain everything to you.
Yes.
He'll walk you right through it.
Yep. There is a lot of that. Those scenes where. Like I don't know if a good example is like the Ocean's movies where they do the kind of montage overview of how they plan a heist, but it feels like that where it kind of feels like they look back and they look at all of the different things that they did in order to manipulate each other into getting where they are and trying to get this money. Yeah, but I liked it. Maybe it was a little bit too expository when it came to that stuff. Maybe I was okay with it because I watched this on a plane, if you can believe that. And if on a plane, it's like I try to devote 100% of my attention to it, but there's plane things happening.
See, and that's setting's good too because you're on a plane. There's not anything else that you could be doing really. Like so it's more than likely making your plane ride nicer.
Yep.
I could see that because it's like a bonus to the plane ride.
Except for the fact that there is a few scenes of intensely graphic sex in this movie, and on a plane, it's just awkward.
Around people, yeah.
It was very awkward. So I was like dimming my screen and trying to like turn it away, but not turn it too much because if I turned it too much, then the person sitting behind me would be able to see. So I was like trying to get this perfect angle where nobody could see what I was watching, because if somebody were to just walk by in the aisle or just glance over, it would look like I was watching porn. Like it would just look like I was straight up watching porn.
Which is probably what the talk of it was, like people getting off the plane. You're like, what about that guy watching porn? Did you see him? And he kept trying to like hide it, but he wasn't hiding. Like we could all see it.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't dim the screen the whole way. I mean, I had to see what was going on. I don't know. What did you think of the graphic sex scenes, the graphic sexual nature of this movie?
It's all right, I guess. I thought it was, well done.
I thought it was well done. I thought that it was. I didn't think that it was distasteful, even though it was like pretty overt. I didn't find it. I thought that it was tastefully shot, and it wasn't. It didn't feel unnecessary or extraneous.
No.
I felt like it.
No, it definitely felt like it was part of the story.
Yeah. And there's so many movies that put that stuff in just for, I don't know if shock value is the right term, but just to be more edgy. And I didn't get that feeling with this, even though it was very graphic.
No, because it was a nice little respite. Because it was it's like, all right, he's not telling me what's happening. He's just showing me.
Did though. Like that was part of it too, and there was voiceover, and they were just explaining what was happening.
She's now putting her finger. Oh goodness.
Well, that's a shame. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was. I didn't think that it was my favorite of his movies, but actually, looking back, maybe it was my. I think I still like this more than Thirst. Even though I liked Thirst, but
I haven't seen Thirst, and I know he does have a tendency to do it because he did it in Old Boy.
Yeah, he doesn't.
But at least it didn't. He does it in pretty much all of his movies.
Yeah, I was looking back. I think he did it in all his movies. Yeah, I know he did it in Lady Vengeance.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, for me, Handmaiden, it felt like it was like 90%, and it felt like his other films, it was kind of he showed some restraint with it. But hell, I mean, I could be remembering wrong. Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, it's just maybe that's how the book was too. The book might have been structured in a way where it went through from one person's perspective, and then
makes sense.
Went back through it with from another perspective.
That makes sense because it's a book. Like, of course, you're going to tell me what happened. It's a book.
The whole concept of a book is telling me what's going on.
It's just abstract shapes on pages. Hopefully you can figure this out. It's a fucking puzzle.
Oh, I like that idea.
But it was just like, he's like, let's do a book, but as a film. So it's like a novel, but in film form. And someone at some point should have been like, no, let's not do that. Let's make it a film instead.
I will agree that I think maybe it could have been tightened up a little bit as far as the explanations of things. I thought that he would rehash things that we saw before. Yeah. And I felt like maybe he could have cut more of that stuff out.
Well, and also by when you do it the second time around, where you hit that one point and then you go back to the beginning and go through it again, when you come up to the next kind of like break and like shift where it comes to the explanation, or even the second time through, you're like, you know what? There's really no point in me watching this, because at the end of it, you'll just explain to me what really happened and not what I just saw, because what I just saw was a diversion, essentially, just a string of red herrings, and you'll explain to me what's really happening. Yeah, so I can just wait till we get to the end, and then you can tell me what's going on.
Because when it hits that hour mark, when they're ready to do the rewind, essentially, you know that there's more. There's just from the time code alone, you know that there's more to this than what we're seeing here, and you know that it's not all as it seems. So yeah, I agree that it's obvious that what we just saw was not the whole truth.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, so this movie's just a little bit shorter than the time I spent grinding down sidewalks. The grinding down sidewalks, although it hurt my body, like I can't feel my arms, my lower back hurts, my knees are in a lot of pain. It was more rewarding because it felt like I actually got something done. The handmaiding, not so much. I don't feel like I really accomplished anything, or found it to be an edifying experience. It looked really nice, though. I'll give it that. I mean, the production design on this sucker.
Yeah,
oh my god,
the house
and
just.
And I want to ask you because within like the first, I don't know, half an hour or whatever, I was like, this feels like a Del Toro movie.
Yeah, it has this very gothic vibe to it. Just I think that a lot of it has to do with the house and then the kind of establishing shots within the house, the sweeping cameras and things like that. It does have that kind of vibe to it. It almost does have kind of a gothic horror look to it.
Yeah.
And even the scenes outside of that, there's one scene is one of my favorites, and it's just a small shot. It's a significant one, but it's when one character is being committed to an asylum, and he does this great slow-mo shot. Do you know the one I'm talking about? It's just a brief thing. It's at that hour mark, and it's this great slow motion shot, and it just that shot alone, I was like, oh, it's just perfect, just perfectly framed. Yeah, it's a gorgeous movie.
It's just, I mean, he's a director with skill. There's no doubt about it, and that's that's the main thing that kept me kind of at least invested until the end. Is because of all of those aspects to it, the cinematography, the production design, and everything. It's just the actual the meat of it. Just.
And thinking back to Stoker too, I think that there's a lot of the same kind of visual cues in Stoker.
Which I'll throw that out there. I don't really remember anything.
I don't either. Like I sort of even forgot he did that movie until just now when I was thinking about it.
I just remember, I remember one shot sequence where she like runs down a slide and like out across the field, and just the camera movement of that was fantastic, and that's all I remember.
Yeah, I think I would also put this above Stoker now that I'm remembering that movie exists. All right, let's go ahead and give The Handmaiden a score. Kevin, what are you going to give it?
I'll give it 6.5.
I'm at like a 7.58 on this one.
Did you say 7.58?
Yeah, somewhere in between there.
Or wait, are you saying 7.5 and 8?
Or 8.
Or are you going...
Like 7.5 or 8, like somewhere...
Okay. I thought you were going like really detailed at 7.58.
Oh, no, it's not 7.5. No. Somewhere in between, so it'd probably be more like a 7.75.
Okay.
Somewhere like that.
Sound like a 6.75, I guess.
All right. Let's move on. Oh, that is in limited release right now. So if it's playing in your area, give it a look. I would recommend seeing this in the theater. Just make sure you use the bathroom before going in, because it's a long one. Let's talk about some we were watching. All right. I didn't see much this week, so...
I was going to say I didn't either. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I was busy grinding sidewalks down.
Yeah, you did mention that. You were sidewalk grinding all weekend. I saw Nerve. This is directed by Ariel Schulman and Henry Joost.
Okay. Decent things about this.
Yeah, so this one was interesting because from the trailers, I had no interest in it. I was like, it looks fine, I guess. It doesn't look that good. But I gotta say, I had such a great time with this movie. Probably one of the biggest surprises of 2016 for me. It's not an amazing movie by any stretch, but it had me hooked. Even though going into it, I was like, I'm just kind of tired of the whole, technology run amok type thing, where it's like, oh, well, they're on social media and there's this new game and everybody's like hooked to their phones, but the way that it's presented is not only is it somewhat believable, but it was just incredibly entertaining. So it's basically, it's similar to the game or something like that, where there's this mysterious game that pops up online. You can either watch or be a participant in the game. If you're a participant, you basically get dares texted to you, and you have a certain amount of time to complete that dare. And if you do, you get money. If you either decide not to do the dare or fail doing the dare, you lose and you're out of the game. It's pretty simple. Okay. But the thing is, the dares continue to escalate until they become pretty dangerous.
Usually what happens. You gotta watch out for those games.
The interesting thing, so this takes place in New York City, so that instantly gets bonus points for me. And a lot of the areas that they choose are very kind of bright. Everything in this movie is neon, like neon everything. And again, from the trailer, I was like, I don't like that. I don't typically like the kind of neon color palette, but I felt like it kind of worked in this one. I actually really enjoyed it. It's a little cheesy, but for some reason, it really worked for me on that on a visual level as well. It stars Dave Franco and Emma Roberts. They were fine. I like both of them, and they were good in it. And I gotta say, I recommend it. I recommend Nerve. So check it out.
What's happening?
I know, it's weird. It's like, because I watched it and I was like, oh my god, I really liked that movie. So I went on Letterboxd to log it, and I noticed that like a lot of other people liked this movie too. And so I thought that was kind of weird. I think that maybe the marketing for that one was just off. Like, they were really trying to, and it is kind of a teen movie, and they were really trying to market it for the teens, which I think for me was kind of a turn off from the beginning, but the movie itself is actually quite good.
Guess I'll have to check out Nerve.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth a look. Just, it's one that you should probably just turn your brain off going into it. And see, the thing is with you, though, like, you hate movies, or I believe, I'm putting words in your mouth, that you hate movies that have a lot of, like, texting. Like, isn't it you that gets bothered with the texting that comes up on the screen and stuff? Because there's a lot of that. I mean, there's a lot of technology being used in this. A lot of people texting and looking at phones and responding to apps and stuff.
I don't think anyone's quite figured it out yet. Like, the best way to...
Well, I'd say give this a look and see if you like how they do it. It's nothing amazing. I mean, it's nothing that's that different. But since it's a movie that's all about looking at your phone and figuring out what's going on and getting commands and things, there's a lot of emphasis on that, and I think that they handle it pretty well.
Yeah. All right. I watched a short titled Sunday, which I checked this out. It's playing over at Filmmaker Magazine for free on their site there. And this is directed by Iva Kocheva, and she was in the movie Embers. She was the other half of the couple with damn it, what's that guy's name? Ritter.
Jason Ritter. Yeah. She was the other half of that couple. So this is a movie directed by her. I think it's only like 12, 14 minutes. It is interesting. It's a woman who her visa runs out, and she's kind of like, she's not entirely sure what she's going to do. She's just kind of thrust into a situation where she's got to figure something out in a short amount of time. And it's just kind of this footage shot of her just kind of wandering around the city, taking pictures, while the audio that plays over top of that is her being interviewed by the director about her situation, what home means to her, and those types of things. And it's just the cinematography in this is exceptional, and just the way everything is essentially just structured, the execution of it all, because it's a pretty simple film, but it just works quite well, and it gets it done quick. That's becoming a big thing for me. It's just, movies are too long.
Figure out what you want to tell me, the information that you want to give me, and just do it. Stop dicking around, okay? Stop dicking around, people.
Cool. And you can see that for free. That's what's it called?
I wrote a review for it. It's up on the site.
Sunday, that's right. Being that it's Halloween time, this week and probably a lot next week, I'll be talking about a lot of horror movies. I saw Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer from 1986. First time watch for me. I've never seen this one.
Okay.
So this is being re-released. They did a 4K restoration, and I was sent a screener for this one. This is directed by John McNaughton. This movie holds up. I mean, it's weird because I never saw it like a long time ago, and I don't have any kind of point of reference for this, so I only saw the restored copy. And I also think that this is a movie that was pretty groundbreaking when it came out because of the level of brutality that is shown. And I can't imagine what audiences thought of this movie when it came out in 1986, because when I watched it today, I was like, wow, this is really intense. Like, this movie is disturbing. It is deeply disturbing. I think that a lot of that has to do with how it's shot. It's the way that they shoot it at the beginning. You don't see Henry actually killing people. You just see the aftermath. You see the dead body of his victims, and then you kind of hear you hear the attack taking place, but you don't see it. They stay focused on the dead body. So that in and of itself it was a creative way of showing it, and in a lot of ways it was more brutal than actually seeing the attack take place. Now later on in the movie, you actually do see him kill a significant number of people, and that's just as effective. Very disturbing film. One of the things that makes it more disturbing is that at one point he ends up getting his friend involved, and he sort of turns his friend into a serial killer too, and they start videotaping the murders and the kind of mayhem that they're causing, and a lot of it, and they show you a lot of these tapes, and they're all shot on VHS, and they're just it's just so raw and horrible to watch, but it's a pretty brilliant film. And even though it is a very difficult experience, I would highly recommend it if you haven't seen it.
Sounds like it's a good film, but at the same time, it sounds like I don't want to see
that. Well, that's one of the reasons that I haven't, that it's been, that I never watched it, because they talk about this movie in a lot of books I've read about controversy in film and stuff like that. So I've known all about this movie for years and years and years, but as such, it was like one of these where it's like, I don't need to see that. I don't need to witness that. Yeah. But I'm after seeing it, I'm glad I did, because now this was just, when this came out, I mean, there was nothing really on this level. I mean, certainly there were brutal movies that came out before this. I mean, you have like Last House on the Left and I Spit on Your Grave and films like that. But the level of realism in this movie is much different, and as such, it kind of makes it even more disturbing. Mm. And amazing performance by Michael Rooker as well.
That's all I have, because I was busy watching the new Black Mirror.
Oh, we'll get into that. We'll get into that in just a second. I have one other one that I'll mention before we talk about Black Mirror. It was one that I just watched today, right before recording, actually. I don't have a lot to say about it. It's called Blood Rage. One of the things that I'm going to try to do this Halloween is focus on 80s horror movies. I love 80s horror movies. I've seen a shit ton, but there are a lot of kind of hidden gems and smaller, lesser known titles that I have not seen. So I'm going to try to fill in a lot of the gaps.
I just reminded me that I need to work on that list of all the films that are just blood something.
Yeah. Well, you can add this one to the list, although I wouldn't recommend it. So this came out in 1987. It's a slasher film, and it's about two twin brothers who, when they were very young, like 10 or 12, one of the brothers brutally murders a teenager at a drive-in movie theater, and he frames his brother. So the innocent brother ends up going to an institution for 10 years where the real killer is out doing his thing. And the brother that's institutionalized, he was in such shock over the event that he kind of suppressed it, and he didn't really know what happened. And then through years and years of therapy, he eventually realized, like, I didn't do this. It was my brother. My brother is the one out there. So what he does is he escapes the institution to try to bring his brother to justice, and as soon as his brother finds out that he escaped, he starts killing people again. And this movie, very, very high body count in this movie, and a lot of the kills are pretty graphic, and the makeup, the gore effects are pretty good. Super low budget movie. It looks like shit. It's edited like shit. The acting is pretty terrible, and the sound mixing is atrocious. There were times, it was one of those movies where sometimes the conversations that they were having, I had no idea what they were saying, so I would like turn it up on the TV, and then the next scene would be so fucking loud that it would like blast my ears off. So I was constantly having to fiddle with the volume, and I hate that. I hate bad sound mixing in it. And some of it was just so muffled that there was no way. Like, I could turn it up all I wanted, and there's just nothing. I mean, maybe it was the transfer. It might have been a bad transfer, but the copy that's available on Shudder is not great. But at any rate, it's a pretty average slasher film. Again, it's called Blood Rage, and you can see it on Shudder.
Which I accidentally brought up the wrong Blood Rage on Letterboxd. I would just like to share the synopsis with you. This is from 1979. Apparently there's a movie called Blood Rage by Joseph Zito, and it just says, a sexually frustrated young man kills hookers.
Nice.
Way back in 1979.
Joseph Zito.
I guess. Oh, that's the guy that did The Prowler.
Yeah, and he did
one of the Friday the 13th.
Yeah, he did the final chapter.
Oh boy, look at that.
That was the final chapter was a good one. That was one with Corey Feldman. That was one of my favorites. All right, let's talk about Black Mirror real quick before we get into predictions. So where are you at? Where are you at with Black Mirror?
I watched two of them. I watched the Shut Up and Dance, which is... are you familiar with the titles? Can I just say, like, Shut Up and Dance and you'll know which episode I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. That one and Playtest.
Okay. Those were actually my two favorites.
Which is weird because I didn't... So Playtest was Dan Trachtenberg?
Yeah, Dan Trachtenberg directed that one.
I didn't fucking know. That one was pretty fantastic. I will say though, the main character
was he annoying?
Was insufferable.
a little annoying.
Which it went
to. I mean, they even say it in the episode that when people get scared, they get talkative and they start to ramble, and it was playing into
scared
that.
Constantly. He was always talking, and he was always insufferable. It's like you're the worst. I can't wait until you get killed.
Well, some terrible things happened to him.
It was just I really like that idea.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, make that a fucking movie. You got these, they're out there. There's ideas out there, but they're getting made into TV episodes.
Well, it's because I think with that one, it was a perfect length. Like, I didn't need anything more than that.
That's
I mean,
true.
they could have easily extended it and made it like have more people be involved in the play test rather than just having one guy. And, you know, it's the way that one is structured. So basically with that episode, it's a guy who he's traveling through Europe. He's got some stuff going on at home. His father passed. He doesn't know how to talk to his mom about it. And he's doing like this app that has odd jobs, and he's trying to make some extra money, and he signs up for to be a play tester for this video game company, and it turns out that the device that they are play testing is this really, it's like a VR sort of, but it's super advanced VR. The thing that I liked about it is, like, I saw the twist. I was like, oh well, you know, this is going to be like kind of like Existence or any of these other kind of VR things where, oh, is it real? Is he back in reality? Is he still in the game? Yeah. And it does that, but it folds so many layers of reality on top. And then the final twist that happens at the very end, I was like, oh shit. You know, it's one of those moments where you're just like, oh shit. And that's the best thing about Black Mirror is that it's a kind of like an insanely better made Tales from the Crypt, that instead of just straight up horror, it's all about technology.
Yeah.
if you're not familiar with the show, you can see they have the whole series on Netflix. So this is the 3rd season, and you can watch all of them on Netflix. And they're all, for the most part, they're all fantastic. Obviously, with any kind of anthology series, some are better than others. But, I mean, they're...
I wasn't really that big on Shut Up and Dance.
I liked it.
That was all right.
I retract my statement. It was not... Those weren't my 2 favorites. Shut Up and Dance is probably like my 3rd or 4th favorite of this season. I saw all of them, by the way. It's unfortunate. The first or the final episode is an hour and a half long. So it's basically a movie. And that was one of my least favorite. So it was kind of a... That was kind of a bummer.
That's good to know, because maybe I'll skip that one.
Probably my second favorite would be I don't know. The 4th episode, San Juniper. I liked that one a lot, just because it's cashing in on 80s nostalgia.
I was going to say, it's 80s with Mackenzie Davis. And
Yep. So that one's really...
Just the picture of Mackenzie Davis with the glasses and the sweater. Oh my goodness.
The pastels.
Pastels are great. They're underappreciated.
Yeah, that's probably my second favorite one. The Joe Wright one, the first episode with Bryce Dallas Howard, is pretty good too.
Yeah.
That one, probably one of the most visually interesting ones.
I mean, Shut Up and Dance did get me at the end. Because the whole time, and it says here that he's 19, which, Jesus, I'm a terrible judge of age.
I thought he was like 16 at most.
No, he's like 14 or 15 years old. Oh my God. But I thought they did do a good job of, because it got me sucked in to the point where I'm like, why is this kid crying so much? Like, who fucking cares, kid? Like, just let him post the video.
I know.
Who gives a shit? And just hit everybody up on your contacts like, hey, don't watch that video. It's me jerking off. Just a heads up.
Yeah, at first I was like that too, but as it went on, I started having suspicions. Like, is it something else?
And my thought was, because my immediate thought was like, oh, that's a clever idea of making him young, because he would think that would be a terrible, terrible thing. Like, if you're 30
that's what I
years
thought.
old,
yeah.
And someone's like, we're going to post that video.
Plus,
you're just going to be like, post it. I don't fucking care. What? It's just me jerking off. I don't give a shit.
Plus, they established the fact that he's already kind of an outsider. He's not very well liked. He gets picked on at work. So they've already kind of established that he's sort of antisocial. But yeah, then they drop the bomb on you.
They get you.
Yeah. Great show. They're already gearing up for a 4th season, so I'm really excited. I think one of the things that helps is they get really interesting directors to be involved with it.
Yeah, they put a lot of production value in them.
Yeah, Charlie Brooker, the creator.
Yeah.
He does a lot of really cool stuff in the UK.
The first one yet?
You haven't what?
I don't know if anything's topped the first episode yet, though, for me.
Well, the first episode was the Bryce Dallas Howard one. Or do you mean
no, I mean
whole series?
Black Mirror, the entirety of it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't even remember which one that was.
It was the one where they fucked the pig.
Oh yeah.
Where they made him
the national anthem with the Prime Minister. Well, that one was interesting because I didn't know anything about the show when I first saw it. Like, so I didn't even know it was an anthology. I knew nothing about it. So after that first episode, I was completely hooked, and I was like, "This is awesome." I like that some of them, that it's not all the same. Like, they don't all take place in the future. Some of them take place in the present day, and it just has a focus on current technology that's available now.
Yeah,
like the Shut Up and Dance, like that could happen now. Like, that's something that is completely plausible. But yeah, great show. Highly recommend. Let's talk about some predictions. What did we do last week? Jack Reacher Never Go Back. You said 56. I said 68, actual 40. People not loving it. People not loving the Jack Reacher 2. 2 Jack, 2 Reacher, I could call it. Keeping Up with the Joneses. You said 24. I said 36, actual 17. Apparently that's the final nail in the coffin for Relativity Media. Yeah, I mean, the company already went bankrupt, but I think that was one of their last movies, and that's probably going to be it for them because it bombed. Ouija, Origin of Evil. You said 42, or sorry, you said 44. I said 42. Actual 81.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, what a surprise that is. I might have to actually check that out. Remember last week I said it looked a lot better than the first one, so we didn't predict it, but The Handmaiden has a 94, and Moonlight has a 99.
Yeah, just because I was like, who's the one person that didn't like that? Slant Magazine.
That's actually a pretty reputable site.
Yeah, it just seems like Slant Magazine doesn't like things.
Nah, they don't. In a Valley of Violence got a 78.
78? Come on. This is at least higher than the Magnificent Seven, so that's good.
What did that get? Like a 60?
63.
63? Okay.
So I agree with that. I will agree with that, but both the Magnificent Seven should be more of like a 20, and Valley of Violence should be more like a 34.
God.
just shitting all over the movies you like.
Yeah.
Shitting on them. What else do you like? Let me shit on it.
Yeah, we'll just move on.
No. Okay.
Next week we have Inferno. It's the Da Vinci Code sequel.
Goodness.
Third one in that series. I did not like the first two. I don't understand how they. I mean, I guess people just eat up this whole series, but for me, it's just not that interesting. What do you think on Inferno?
18.
I think it's gonna be a little bit higher than that. I'll say 42. That's pretty much it. As far as big releases, not a whole lot coming out next week. Let's see what we got in limited. We got the Oasis documentary, Supersonic.
Oh, thank goodness.
That's got a 93%. Gimme Danger. This is the Jim Jarmusch rock doc about the Stooges.
Ooh, rock docs.
The rock doc, Jim Jarmusch rock doc. Heard it was good. We have one called The Windmill. It's a horror movie, a.k.a. The Windmill Massacre. The tagline is, "This isn't hell, this is Holland." I'm gonna see it just because I came back from Holland and I saw all the windmills. So
you're just going to see those windmills in a different context.
Yeah, I want to see the horror version, because if you ever go there in real life, it is the most peaceful, tranquil, nice thing.
Like, you actually have a mental picture of and being able to look at it in your mind and think, you can't make that horror.
Exactly.
Let's see if they can do it, though.
You know, those windmills, they're still using them, even though it's kind of it's not like a big tourist thing, but they're still functional. Like, they still make stuff in all the different windmills.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Let's see, what else do we have? Finding Babel, An Eye for an Eye, You've Been Trumped 2.
Oh.
Yeah, I think the first one was about him trying to build a golf course in Scotland or something like that. I don't know what this one's about. I won't be bothering to see it. That's pretty much it. There's just nothing next week.
Nothing coming out.
Yeah, it's weird. VOD next week. Let's see what we have. Hopefully there's some more on VOD. We have not a lot at all. All I have here on the list is The Unspoken, and I don't even know what that is.
Okay.
Blu-ray next week.
Wow.
Where are all the horror movies at? You know?
They'll be coming out in February.
Yeah, what the hell?
Perfect time for horror. This
is for Tuesday, October 25th. We have Mr. Church, Skip Trace.
I don't know why that title makes me laugh.
It's ridiculous. It's got a ridiculous cover too. It's just a still of the movie. I hate that. I hate covers that use just a still of the movie because it's so lazy.
It truly is.
Men and Chicken. I want to see that. The one with Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, the one. Yeah, he's got that mustache.
Yeah. There's I just want to mention this because it's ridiculous. It's a Blu-ray triple pack. It's a 4K Blu-ray triple pack of Batman v Superman, Mad Max, and San Andreas. Why? Why? Come on, guys.
Oh, that's good stuff.
We have so little respect for movies that we put 3 in a random triple pack. Fucking bullshit. Captain Fantastic, Nightmare Sisters. That's a re-release from 1988. I think that looks like a Scream Factory release. Lights Out.
Sounds like something up your alley.
Yeah, I'll probably check that out. Lights Out. I would definitely recommend that. Nerve. Also recommend. The Exorcist 3 is getting a re-release on Blu-ray. Okay. Really solid. If you haven't seen The Exorcist 3, ooh, that'll give you the nightmares for sure. That's pretty much it. What do we have on the old Criterion front next week?
We have one Criterion, that's The Executioner by Luis Garcia Bernagna, which never heard of him. Apparently, I mean, huge. He's like the most important Spanish director. And in Spain, I mean, he's an icon. Beloved. Like, they talk about him constantly. And I actually watched, on the Criterion, they have a new documentary where they talk with a number of people about him. And it's really interesting, the doc. It works really well because it kind of, if you're in my situation, which I think a large number of Americans don't really know him, gives you a good history of him, the political climate in Spain with cinema during that time. It's just, I haven't gotten to watch the actual film yet, but I'm getting pretty psyched.
Comedy, right? It's like a dark.
Yeah,
it's like a dark comedy.
It's a dark comedy, and there's just a little interview with Pedro Almodovar, who and it's only like 4 minutes or whatever, and he said like he thinks the main reason that his movies never came to America or anywhere else is because there's entirely too many people talking, and it's just impossible to subtitle.
Oh, interesting.
There's like 6 people talking at once.
Yeah, that could get messy. I'll be interested to see what you have to say about that one.
It looks good. I can't wait.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net or contact us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/FilmPulse. Consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. We appreciate that. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.